Hey everybody, this is Joshua Tucker, the tendonitis expert. And this video is about what really causes guitar tendonitis. And more importantly, why haven't you fixed it yet? So we'll come back to this picture in just a moment. The question of the day is, what causes guitar tendonitis? If you go to a doctor and you tell them you're a good guitar player and you have all sorts of tendonitis symptoms, it's almost certain that they're going to say that playing guitar is what caused your symptoms. The good news is that playing guitar is not what caused your symptoms. Because playing guitar doesn't cause tendonitis, just like running doesn't cause Achilles tendonitis, etc. The activity that your body performs is not what causes tendonitis. So you can take guitar playing off board. You don't need to worry about playing guitar as the cause of your pain and problem. Now, obviously, it's a contributing factor in the sense that that is the activity you're doing and your hands hurt. So there's a correlation. But my point is, as you'll see here shortly, it's not the guitar playing itself that's causing the problem. So what else causes guitar tendonitis? Is it bad posture while playing? Yes and no. If you play with bad posture and your shoulders are hunched forward and all of that, then that can compress muscle. That can cause muscle to get tight, which compresses nerve up near the neck, and that can impinge nerve flow down the arm, and that can cause all sorts of problems like pain and tightness, loss of agility, and essentially what seem like tendonitis symptoms. Your doctor, of course, isn't really going to be able to tell the difference between tendonitis centered on your forearms and tendonitis symptoms that's coming from up at your neck. Now, there are some doctors that can do that, but they're few and far between in my experience. Point being, posture is something to pay attention to, but bad posture isn't going to cause tendonitis in your actual forearms. So, for the moment, we can take posture off. So what causes guitar tendonitis? The answer is the tendonitis dynamic. Now, that might seem like an obvious statement that tendonitis causes tendonitis, but that's not the same thing. Tendonitis, by diagnosis, is inflammation of a tendon. But realistically, there's more going on there. Tendons don't get inflamed for no reason. You don't have pain for no reason. So the reasons that you get tendonitis symptoms is the tendonitis dynamic, by which I mean there's multiple factors at play. So what are those factors? There's three factors to the tendonitis dynamic. First is muscle and connective tissue tightness, the inflammation process, and nutritional insufficiency, meaning your body doesn't have enough nutrition to do what it needs to do. So those are the three factors of the tendonitis dynamic. So even if you hurt right here, or you hurt right here, and or you have pain here, and or you have pain here, your doctor and physical therapist, for the most part, is going to look at those and say, well, you hurt right there, so that right there is your problem. Or that right there is your problem. Or that right there is your problem. They never seem to ask why that's a problem. And the why question is answered with the tendonitis dynamic. Tightness, inflammation, and nutritional insufficiency. So let's look at that. So, you play guitar with your hands. Even if you hurt right here and only right here, there's more at play. So, your muscles contract, all your muscles contract, hundreds if not thousands and thousands of times as your fingers strum and move back and forth, and your wrist moves, and your forearm stabilizes, and your elbow moves. All of the muscles in your forearms are working. And long story short, when a muscle contracts and then relaxes, it retains a certain small amount of that contraction. So over time, things get tighter and tighter and tighter. And notice how this muscle is connected to one or more tendons here. And when this muscle is tight, it's pulling this tendon that way. And realistically, it's pulling more than one tendon that way. So all of these muscles get tighter and tighter and tighter, some more than others. They all pull on their tendons, and they pull your hand and fingers that way. And you can see how that's going to compress the wrist. You have a joint right there. Muscles are pulling your hand into it. Let's clear that up just a little bit. So you have multiple muscles on the back side of your hand as well as the palm side of your hand that are getting tight. They should be this long, but over time they become this long, let's just say. So they're shorter and they're pulling the tendon more. And then you're still moving your fingers over and over and over. So these tendons, which slide through grooves, they're not compressed down into those grooves, and that causes friction and problem. So that's one aspect of the tightness. I should further say that over time muscles get tight and they stay tight. So when you go to sleep at night, that tightness, it's the new normal. So you don't relax, you stay tight. So there's tightness. Then inflammation is, sooner or later your brain's going to go, hey, that's a problem. It can't really tell whether you're injured or not injured. It just knows there's a problem, and it kicks in an inflammation process. And one problem there is it releases chemicals, which enhances your sensitivity to pain. So now all through your tissue, you have chemical, which sets your neuroreceptors on edge. That means you feel more pain. Even if you don't consciously feel it, your brain does feel it. And what does the brain do when it thinks there's a problem? It tries to protect you with tightness. So inflammation causes pain and it causes tightness. And of course, tightness causes more inflammation. Then there's nutritional insufficiency. Muscles require nutrition to work. Muscles require specific nutrition to relax. Inflammation eats up nutrition. So you were already short on nutrition, which is a safe bet. Even if you think you eat well, you were already kind of short on nutrition. And then you moved your muscles thousands and thousands and thousands of times over time, and your body tried to operate as well as it could without enough nutrition. But that's just part of the downward spiral, pretend this is a spiral, of more pain, more tightness, less nutrition, more pain, more tightness, less nutrition, more pain, more tightness, less nutrition. Muscles get more tight, you lose the ability to perform work, you lose the ability to recover, you have more and more pain, your brain responds more and more with tightness and inflammation, which just makes things worse. So that is why you have pain right here if you have pain right there, or right here, or right here. It doesn't really matter where you feel pain because the tendonitis dynamic is what's causing the pain. You don't have a problem right here. You have a problem all in there. So that's what the tendonitis dynamic is, and that's what causes guitar tendonitis. It's not the playing of the guitar per se, it's that you're losing you're losing the ability to function in your forearms and elsewhere. And that brings us to an important question of why haven't you fixed it yet? Probably you've done some self-care on your own. Maybe you've looked online to see what you could do, and you've tried that and you still hurt. Or you've seen doctors and you still hurt. And you've seen physical therapists and you still hurt. So it's not your fault that you haven't fixed it yet. It's that you haven't yet been given the right information. Once you get the right information, then getting rid of your pain is a very simple matter of just doing the right things and enough of the right things, and pain will go away and function will be restored. So if you're lacking some agility or some finger speed, then that's going to return when you get your muscles back into functional order. So how do you get rid of guitar pain? Well, the simple answer is, let's go back here. The simple answer is to get rid of your guitar pain, you have to effectively get rid of the tightness, you have to effectively get rid of the inflammation, and you have to effectively correct the nutritional insufficiency. Remember, these three things, they work together. One affects the other, affects the other, affects the other, affects the other. So if you just get a bunch of massage and a lot of tightness goes away, and even the pain might go away from that, but as you may have already experienced, it's going to quickly come back because the nutritional insufficiency, it prevents muscles from being able to relax. So they're just going to come right back as tight. And the inflammation triggers, the inflammation process is still in place, and it causes muscles to get tight. So before too long, you're going to have tightness again. Same thing with inflammation. If you take anti-inflammatories and they happen to knock down the inflammation some and your pain goes away, that's great, except you still have nutritional insufficiency and tightness, and those two things working together are going to return an inflammation process. That's just how it works. You haven't fixed it yet because you haven't done the right things and you haven't done enough of the right things. Let me elaborate on this for just a moment just to make sure I make the point. So that's a bucket, this is a bucket, this is a bucket. If you only do this much of correcting the nutrition and this much knocking down the inflammation and this much removing the tightness, then you're not going to get the results you want. If you get rid of all the inflammation, but only that much nutrition and that much tightness, you're going to go right back to full inflammation, because the tightness and the nutritional deficiency will trigger more inflammation and you're right back to where you started. So you need to completely take care of the tightness. You need to completely take care of the inflammation, and you need to completely correct the nutritional insufficiency. To the extent that you do that, then your pain and problem will go away and you'll be back to playing as much guitar as you want. As much as you want. So, how do you do that? I would recommend two things. One, find out more about guitar tendonitis at my website, tendonitisexpert.com, and find the appropriate page. And if you want a complete plan of exactly what you need to do and only what you need to do to get rid of guitar tendonitis, then I recommend my Reversing Guitar Tendonitis program. It shows you what you need to do to completely get rid of the tightness and the inflammation and the nutritional insufficiency. And you can find that on tendonitisexpert.com as well.